Lori here. I'm back. I am here to come in to my BookMas videos and just do my part one of my December reading wrap up. I figure it would be apropos because there are a lot of holiday reads in here, a lot of audiobooks I listen to, and I know that once I come back from Disney, I'm going to have a lot of stuff to film. So I'm going to give you guys this video now. It does have a lot of like holiday themed books, but yeah, I actually had a pretty good reading month for the month of December. I still had some DNFs, I'll be honest, and I'll talk about that in like the end, my other wrap up later on, but it was a pretty good reading and listening month. I read a lot of holiday books and I sort of burned myself out on them, so I'm reading some other stuff right now, but I think when I go to Disney, I will probably read some more holiday reads because they're quick and they're speedy. But let's get into it. Off strong with A Holly Dwali Duali by Sonia Lael. I think I'm probably saying her name wrong, but here is the pretty cover. Most of the first books I read this month were all either from the library or audiobooks, so you will have a lot of pictures. Christmas books. You can like throw a stone and find a million Christmas books, but finding books that are like not based around Christmas are really hard. So I was pleasantly surprised to see quite a few come out this year that were about different experiences. This is one that I just really liked right off the bat. So you basically follow this girl and she is working at a job that like she doesn't love. It's a job. She lives with her parents and she gets fired unexpectedly and she winds up going to her best friend's wedding in Dubai, and she sort of gets sucked up in this world and she sort of meets a boy and she was not expecting to meet anyone. And it was really interesting. I really like this book. It was definitely a romance, I will say that, but focused a lot on just, being in Dubai. It reminded me a little bit of the background of when I read Crazy Rich Asians, which I love that background and the setup and how Kevin Kwan really made me understand that culture. I felt this author did a very, very similar thing. She also talked about what Diwali was. I thought the romance was really interesting and very, very fun. It was just a really enjoyable read. It wasn't dual point of view, which is normally how I prefer my romances, but I felt like it had a nice balance between romance and self-discovery, and I wound up giving this book 4 stars. I definitely want to go back and see what else she's written because I really did like this book quite a bit and would definitely read more by her in the future. Chat about, it's been a bit since I listened to any like historical romances, so I'm planning on picking up a couple this week and towards the end of the month. But the first one I picked up was A Night Like This by Julia Quinn. Here is a photo. Bridgerton series. It's gotten so popular. This is her second series that's like loosely connected to the Bridgertons because you meet them in the Bridgertons, and this is the Smythe Smith Quartet. I wound up picking up the second book first because I thought it was the first book, but it's not. But this book I really, really liked. I love Regency romances that have a little bit of like mystery to it. So you basically follow these two characters, and the hero accidentally was in a duel, and that led to some drama. He shot somebody, and he was sort of isolated and sent away from his town. But when he came back a year later, he sort of crosses path with one of the servants in his cousin's house, and she has a lot of secrets. And when someone tries to kill them both, they have to sort of work together to figure out what's happening. It was a really, really sweet romance. I did really like this one. Peace Love Books recommended this, and I definitely really enjoyed it. It had a nice mystery element to it. The hero was great. I really liked the heroine. It reminded me a little bit of An Offer from a Gentleman in the Julia Quinn series, which was, it wasn't Colin. It was Benedict and Sophie's book, which I really, really liked. I just really like this book. So it was always very, very good. I definitely want to go back and read the first book in the series. I might do that in the new year. But yeah, I really did like this book like quite a bit, and I was very happy to be reading Julia Quinn again. The Christmassy train. I picked up the 12 Sleighs of Christmas, which is a Christmas murder mystery. And I really like this book. I have been finding some really cozy mysteries recently that have really wowed me and I've really enjoyed. And this one was no different. And it was also set on a Christmas tree farm, which just was delightful. Main character, and she winds up going back to live in a small town with her parents after her boyfriend broke up with her. And she's not really convinced she wants to stay there, but her parents own this Christmas tree farm. And after her father gets into a heated dispute with someone in town, their Christmas tree farm is basically shut down because someone was murdered on their Christmas tree farm, and their family is like the prime suspect. So she sort of has to reluctantly work with the town sheriff to sort of uncover what really happened. I thought it was delightful. It had so much Christmas charm and Christmas moments. There was the potentiality of a romance. There was a mystery that like I didn't necessarily see coming. It wasn't as predictable as previous cozy mysteries that I've read in the past. I really liked it. It was set at a Christmas tree farm. I've also read another book at a Christmas tree farm later in this month that I didn't love, but this one had all the charm, a nice mystery, and just some holiday fun. So definitely super cute and so happy that I picked it up. The book that I picked up was called A Gift to Remember by Melissa Hill. Here is a photo. Always know when a book is women's fiction because I just always think that romances tend to be a better category for them. However, this one was definitely women's fiction. I've read a couple of women's fiction books over the years and they never really wowed me, but this one I thought was okay. But you basically follow this girl and she's living in New York City. She's living by herself. Her parents died a really, really long time ago. But she's working at this bookshop and she accidentally winds up running down this man in the crosswalk and sort of taking care of his dog as this man starts to kind of remember what happens. And they're sort of working together to sort of piece back his life. And she's sort of helping him and taking care of his dog. I really like the mystery element to the story because you didn't really know where it was going. And there was a point in this book where I was like, oh my goodness, is this going to go the way that I think it is going? That would have been so devastating, but it didn't go that way. But it was really, really cute and fun. I like that we also got the second character's point of view sort of throughout the read, sort of flashing back on what really was happening. I love books about animals. I love books about bookstores. I would give this one 3 stars for review. I thought the ending was a little bit rushed and I would have liked a little bit more like explanation about the very, very end. But I thought it was cute. I liked it and I thought it was a great Christmassy New York story, especially one set in a bookshop. So overall, I gave this one 3 stars for a review. We have a YA book I read a couple of years ago. I can't remember the name of the book. It's like a Christmassy cover. And it very much was about how like your actions, like what you do to other people can like affect you. So it was that part of it was interesting and it was like very, very subtle, but I did like it. So the next book that I picked up was another audiobook, another kind of unique one, and that is The Matzo Ball by Jean Meltzer. Here's a photo. I think this is probably my favorite adult Christmassy romance I've read. Holly Jolly Jolly was a close second. But you follow this girl. She is living with a chronic illness and she is Jewish. However, her career is writing Christmas romances, which I just think is delightful. It was really fun to see her really invested in the Christmas element. Like she really liked writing her Christmas romances. But when her editor says, "Hey, why don't you write a Hanukkah romance?" She has to get inspired. The only way she could think to be inspired is to go to this matzo ball in New York City, which, according to a couple of my friends, is actually sort of a real thing. But there's a catch. She has to convince her ex-boyfriend at summer camp to give her a ticket because he's running the event. And hilarity, drama, and romance ensue. It was really, really cute. This book made me laugh out loud. I thought it was so funny and just so enjoyable. I gave it 4 stars. Definitely have to look to see if this author has written more stuff because I would definitely read more by her. I love the concept. I love the characters. I love the chronic illness rep. I just thought the romance was cute. And Winter in the City, a romance author. All of my boxes were checked. Hallmark, are you listening? You should pick this book up because I thought it was delightful and would also make a good movie. out of the order that I read them because I did not love this book at all. It is almost 400 pages, and I struggled with this book so hard. It seemed perfect. Like, it seemed like I would really enjoy it. You follow Nick and Noelle. They were high school best friends. When Noelle's parents died, she moved in with Nick's family, and they helped raise her when she died when she was 16. She's a very, very isolated person. So Nick is coming back from being in the army, and this will be his first year back, like his first Christmas back. And they haven't seen each other for a very, very long time. When his girlfriend unexpectedly breaks up with him, it sort of throws him into sort of like, he doesn't know what to do with his life. I did not love the writing style in this book. I thought it was way too long. The first 150 pages I liked. The writing style I did not like. I felt like it was so catty. The female relationships in this book I did not like. The romance wasn't even that exciting, and for me to say that when it's friends to more is saying something. There was a puppy in it. It took place at a Christmas tree farm. I wanted to love it, and I just really, really struggled with it. I just honestly plowed through at the very, very end. It was dual point of view. I like Nick a lot more than I like Noelle, honestly. It was, inspired by Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, which I have enjoyed retellings of that in the past. But I just didn't love it. Sorry. I only gave it 2 stars, and I rarely gave book 2 stars, but it really did not impress me. And yeah, I just didn't love it. I feel bad. I'm giving this as a Christmas present to someone, and I'm like, well, maybe I should get them something else. But you know what? Maybe they'll like it a little bit more than I did. It was really cheesy, and it had a lot of cattiness in friendship and just behavior that I couldn't get behind. So that's why I gave it 2 stars, and I just didn't really like the writing style. So sorry to go on a soapbox, but hey, if you think you would like it, I definitely recommend you check it out. It just wasn't a book for me. The last 2 books I'm going to talk about in this video are books that I really did love. I picked up I'm Dreaming of a Wyatt Christmas by Tiffany Schmidt. I thought this book was so cute. I really liked it. You basically follow this girl named Noelle, another Noelle, 2 Noelles. So she's dealing with the death of her mother. Her mother has been gone for a couple of years. She always make Christmas her happy moment. Her dad is an app developer, and he has been a little bit isolated in recent months, and she feels a little bit isolated. She's also a dancer, and her whole goal is to kind of go to this elite boarding school for the summer. So, but everything in her holiday season starts going apart. Her dad's not really talking with her. Everything she plans sort of goes awry. But the one thing she has in her life that she really likes is babysitting. She's babysits his family for many, many years, and they have a stepson that she has never actually met. He goes to this dance ballet school that she really wants to go to. So when they invite her to go on this skiing trip with them to take care of the kids, and it's going to be over Christmas break, she reluctantly decides to go, thinking her dad will stop her. Her dad doesn't stop her. But when she comes face to face with this young man that she's been kind of dreaming about and had this massive crush on, hilarity, drama, and maybe romance ensues. I love this book. I love books about the arts. This book was really interesting because they were both dancers, but they both looked at the dancing world in a really interesting way. It had little kids. It had a snowy setting. It took place over the holidays. It had elements of found family, which also this book did have as well, but this book just did it a lot better. So I love this book. I gave it 4 stars. I really want to go back and read her Bookish Boyfriend series because I've heard really good things about it, but this holiday romance definitely was perfect, and I'm really happy that I picked it up. The last book I'm going to talk about in this video is one that I'm so happy I finally read, and I say finally because even though this came out this month or last month, it has been out for so many years, and I don't read webtoons because they give me a really, really big headache. But this is a lore, it's a graphic novel retelling of lore mythology, and just Olympus mythology. I loved it. The one thing that stands out to me about this book is the art styles. It's basically a Hades and Persephone story. I loved it. Loved it. I think above all else, it is just stunning art style. I will definitely be keeping this and getting more volumes in the future when they come out in these beautiful editions. I loved it. If you are looking for some graphic novels to stack up your reading goal for 2020 at the end of 2021 or to read in 2022, definitely pick out Lore Olympus. If you are a mythology fan, if you like Persephone and Hades retelling, stunning. But guys, this art style is just stunning, 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 and I loved it. So those are all, well, half of the books that I tackled in the month of December. Let me know in the comments what are some of your top reads of the month so far, and I will talk to you tomorrow for another BookMas video. Bye, friends.